folks, today's video is a favourites video, and it's a long time since I've done one of these, but I had a few things that I thought were worthy of sharing. So without further ado, we're starting with this magazine, which is called Womankind, and I don't usually buy magazines, but this one has end papers. Can we just have a moment? I mean, I love end papers, and I mean, a magazine with end papers, I'm basically bound to buy. It's destined to buy. But anyway, this is really, really beautiful. I think it's an Australian publication, and it is full of lovely illustration and photography. I mean, this is probably the most beautiful women's magazine I have ever seen. Not that men couldn't get something from it as well, but it is aimed primarily at women, hence the title, and there are lots of articles about different amazing, interesting women throughout the world, so this is very cool. And it seems like each one has a theme or a couple of different themes running throughout. This one seems to be Turkey and wolves and travel. I don't know if this is available overseas, but if I can find it, I will link it down below. Then I have two books. Of course, we have this huge thing, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban illustrated. This is the one that I was most excited about, so I'm absolutely delighted to get my hands on this. It is just stunning. The gold foiling on here just stands out in just the most incredible way against that purple. And of course underneath it is purple as well. Rather stunning. And I mean, I don't want to show you too much from this because I know that the joy of these is actually discovering the illustrations as you go. But I'll just show you this one. This is from towards the beginning. Grumpy cat and terrified little mouse who may or may not be a mouse. I mean, this is my favourite of the Harry Potter books, so having the illustrated edition is delightful, and I cannot wait to properly read through all of it and yeah, just rediscover the delights of Harry Potter. That's what I've been loving about these illustrated ones. Okay, then we have this other book, which, I mean, I just couldn't leave the bookshop without. It seemed cruel that it existed, but it's all about dust jackets, illustrated dust jackets. So this is completely up my alley. If you don't know, I am a book cover designer. So this is just lots of different artists, and we've got a section on Edward Gorey there. Oh, the bookmark just fell out. Again, I just love it. That's why it's in this favourites video. And the variety in here as well. So this is another one that I'm really looking forward to going through in a bit more detail and really gleaning some inspiration from. The next thing I've been absolutely loving this year is Inktober. And I've talked about this a bit on my channel, but I just wanted to share the type of ink that I've been using, which is this one here, and let's see if we can get that focused. So it's the Dr. P.H. Martin's ink, and this is in copperplate gold, and the results of this are absolutely stunning. So you can see it kind of settles, but I've watched other videos online, and apparently this one doesn't settle as much as the Winsor & Newton one, and of course when you shake it up, it takes quite a bit of shaking, but then it starts to all blend in, and I'll show you the results. This is how lovely it is, and it sort of sits on top of the paper and it gives me a lovely little shimmer, and I'm just delighted with it, and I'm completely obsessed with ink now. So you might be seeing more of this post October, Inktober. And I actually have another example here. This is an example of it on black paper. This is the design I did, and this kind of brings me into the next part, because I did this design for part of a course that I'm doing at the moment, which is run by John Contino, who is a hand letterer extraordinaire, and it's been absolutely wonderful. I've got so much out of this course, and so I'm going to recommend it to any of you who are really into hand lettering. It takes you from the very basics, the building blocks of hand lettering, up to much more complex stuff, and his feedback is absolutely fantastic and so, yeah, just so worthwhile. So I've got a huge amount out of this course. It's really, I'm seeing huge improvements in my work and throughout Inktober as well. So it's a 6-week course, and I think he's starting a new one soon, so I will link that down below if you want to check it out. But yeah, so one of the challenges was to design a logo, and I don't really do logo design anymore. I really wanted to focus this on book covers, so I decided to take a book cover a book title and turn it into a logo. So that's where we got this this Compass of Cloud Atlas by David Mitchell, and I will turn this into a proper full book cover. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. The other course I've been taking recently is one that I've been taking locally, and it's a screen printing course, which I am completely obsessed with. I've already made a stack of stuff, but got this one here. I don't know how well it's going to show up. This is with using silver paint, so it's quite ethereal, and you can't really see the details of it in certain lights. But I really like the way that that is looking. Not how I anticipated it looking, but I still am pretty happy with it. And, oh, here we are. Here's another one where it's showing up a bit better. So my plan with these is to turn them into book covers, fabric book covers that you can put over notebooks. Have I got any more here? Oh yeah, the Flesh-Eating Trees of the World one as well. So again, quite creepy and ethereal. So if you haven't done screen printing in the past, it's a very, very cool process, which is very hard to explain. But basically, so this is an original design that I did the other day. And what I did is I got this photocopied onto a piece of transparency, like overhead projector fabric stuff. Not fabric, you know what I mean. That plasticky stuff. I've also heard it called mylar. And then you use it to develop a screen. So you use a photographic emulsion and you put it onto a screen like this. You can see it's going to be backwards like that. So and then with this you put paint along the top and you use a squeegee to push it down so it goes through all of these holes in there, and then final result. Ta-da! So it's really magical, and every step along the way is magical. And I cannot recommend taking a class on screen printing enough. It's just been so much fun. So I'm going to turn these into tote bags. This is just a test one, but I'm going to sew it up and make a sample from it. And yeah, it's been just wonderful, just wonderful. So yeah, if you have any screen printing courses locally and you've been considering it or hadn't even heard of it, then it's such a fun thing to do. And you can do designs with all sorts of things. You don't have to be into art. You don't have to be good at drawing or anything like that. You can use just leaves from the ground, or you can, you know, just sort of abstract designs. There are endless possibilities, and it's so much fun. The final two things I wanted to mention are two podcasts which I have been really enjoying lately. One is the Creative Pep Talk podcast, which I only came across recently, but it's like the perfect podcast in that it's all about illustration, which is what I do, but it's also just a boatload of inspiration, and yeah, it's a pep talk. It's what it says on the tin. And Andy J. Miller, who is the presenter, is just fantastic. Sometimes he has guests on, sometimes it's just him. Both are equally great. Recently he did one with Lauren Hom, who is a hand letterer extraordinaire, another hand letterer extraordinaire, and that was such a wonderful episode. I would really recommend starting there, and then there are so many to go back and listen to if you haven't heard of it before. So I was really pleased to come across that. And also the Design Life podcast, which is all about side projects, creative side projects. And it is run by two Kiwi ladies, and they are just absolutely wonderful. They do all sorts of creative things on the side. Charlie has a YouTube channel, which I will link down below. She's Charlie Marie TV. If you haven't come across her, great channel. And yeah, it's very motivational again, and they go really into the nitty-gritty of some of the obstacles to creating side projects as well. If you're somebody who does things on the side of a day job or on the side of other creative work, then yeah, it's a great one to listen to. And I've got to do a quick shout out to my own hosting of a podcast. I have been interviewing some designers for the Spine magazine podcast, which has recently been released, and it's been so exciting as well. So I got to interview Kimberly Glider, who is another wonderful book cover designer based in the States. And that one is up now. I'm not sure when the next ones are going up, but you can subscribe on iTunes or whatever your podcast place of choice is. But yeah, go and have a look at the Spine magazine website as well, because it's just fantastic. And I had so much fun interviewing these people. It's a great opportunity for me just to ask some of those questions that I haven't been able to ask, and yeah, it's been really, really fun. Yeah, so I hope that you found something of interest in this slightly eclectic bunch of favourites for this month. Some books, a magazine, 2 classes, screen printing, ink, and some podcasts. So yeah, I'm having fun at the moment. If you want to find me elsewhere online or follow along with my Inktober, I am at Holly Dunn Design on Instagram, and I'm also at Holly Dunn Design on Twitter. Not quite so good at keeping up with the Inktobers on Twitter, but definitely Instagram. Every day they're going up. If you're interested in my book design work, my website is hollydundesign.com. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!